many moons ago, I bought this guy, one and only Twilight Express, Kato version, Kato. And shortly after, I was kind of forced to move. And soon, right after that, I had bought a lighting kit for them. This was, gosh, a year and a half ago or so now. I've just never had the time or ability to sit down and put these lights in. But that's what we're finally going to do today. In fact, I haven't even used this set really since I first bought it, because I knew I bought the lights and I wasn't going to use it until I got the lights in again. So, man, I don't know what's took so long, but we're finally doing it once and for all, installing some Kato lights in the Twilight Express set. Here it is, if you need a reminder of the awesomeness that lies within. This is a real train running over there in Japan. And when I saw this come out, I'm like, man, I knew I had to get it, because it's just one of the coolest things I've seen. It's up there with that Shikishima. Now, I do think the Shikishima Gold Train it's in the same status as this one, like a luxury superliner running in Japan. But that is just crazy, insane design. This is a more sleek look, a more clean look, but it's an awesome look. The golden green color really is awesome. And it's literally called the Twilight Express. So you had to get the indirect lighting for it because, like I said, it's literally the Twilight Express. How can you have the Twilight Express without a lighting kit? If I bought the Tomex version of this, it would have come pre-installed with lights, but of course that would have been a lot more. And since I already had the Shikishima Tomex version with lights, I figured I'd get the Kato version of this guy. The fact that I found a deal on the Kato side helped too, but this is a 10 card set, similar to the Shikishima, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, this video we're gonna walk through popping these lights in. If you've never done a Kato light kit before, it's actually pretty easy. I've done a couple of them before. This is a 6-pack. You can buy them in packs of 1 or 6. You can get indirect lighting or like regular LED white light, which is going to be more like, well, I don't know if the video does it justice, but it's going to be more like this lamp. That's more of a pure white light, whereas actually the lamp behind it is more of an indirect, softer yellow light. So I went with the soft yellow because it's literally the Twilight Express. So I wanted that cool twilighty color. So here's what you get in a lighting kit. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. All the wheels and everything, if you don't know, are already like pre-designed for the lighting kits. So they all have electrical pickup. It's just a matter of popping down these connectors on the inside, and then this is actually your bulb too. There's a LED light right here, and that shines over and across, and then you get this plastic bit that carries the light through the whole engine and illuminates down. That goes up in the roof. You just kind of pop it up. You see these little connectors. It goes up in there. Sometimes you might have to cut them depending on the size and everything. So like these front engines and rear, we might need to do some cutting because that might be a little tight, but we'll see once we dig into it. But yeah, let's do a nice easy one first to pop that out of the way, and go from there. Oh, I forgot, some of these Kato ones come with these little copper connectors too that slide between the wheels and the little thingy you slide down in. Now I will say I wish the Kato lighting kits were a little bit easier to keep in place, because sometimes these little clips tend to slide around on you and get not the best of connections. I wish it was more like, well, the Tomex ones are actually springs where they spiral down, and so when you push it down, the connector is actually on a spring. So when you push it in, the spring is the connector, so that just carries the power through, and you have a nice solid connection. Whereas these, I feel like sometimes they slide around on you. You also have these little lights that make it indirect as well. I think the bulb itself is, first of all, I think it's slightly different than the normal LED white ones. But then this you put on the front almost like a lens, and then that makes it even more of a hingy, yellow than the pure white. So, all right, let me find a non-engine one. Like this guy, good old number 9. You can see the big old windows. That will be really cool with lights. I don't think I have anything that big with lights yet that I can think of. Unless you count the Shikishima, some of those windows are pretty big. But really what you do is you just kind of pop off the corner by pulling it out. That was pretty easy. That's interesting. There's already a light in here? What is this for? I've never seen this plastic bit. I don't think it's doing anything. Normally that's just open and you slide the lighting kit in there, but let's see how this is supposed to work. So our number 9 was back here, I think. So you want the lighting kit. Where's the light go? The light goes on this side. So what you do, you can see there's 2 little slots here. That's actually where the copper thingies go. So let me get those open. There we go. All right, so you need 2 per car. And all they do is they slide in like that. And then you get another one. You do the other side to complete the circuit. Like I said, these wheels are already powered up, but basically what you're doing is you're taking, there's a copper thing in the wheel. You can kind of see it almost up in there. This slides in to make contact with that, and then it brings the power back to the little clip. And then the clip slides in between these and the little pillars there. So if I open up the clip bag, so here's a clip. Make sure you put it on the right way. You can see there's 2 metal pillars there, and then that's what supposedly makes contact with the copper that you just slid in. Like I said, it's not the cleanest way to do this, I feel like, because it needs to get like just right. Like so. And you know what? I need to get that lens in there too. So if I bust off a lens, this is really tiny. I don't even know if I'll focus on it. But there's little clips on that lens, and they're the tiniest things in the world. And that needs to clip into the LED. So if I do it just right, so it's been a while since I did this. So actually what you gotta do, I had to bust out the instructions here again. What you do is you gotta pop off the top part and then slide in the clip or the little lens and then pop it back together again. So if you do that this way, what you do is you kind of pop it into place here. There's a little like lip too right in the middle, and then that gets tied up on the top. Just like that. And then you'll take your clip again, and hopefully with that lens not popping out of place, you can get this back into where it needs to be. Alright, took some doing, but we finally got there. There's your finished product. Now we gotta do it 9 more times. But anyway, how this should work, and I still don't know what this roof thing is, but in theory, this clips down on top like so, and then that snaps in like that. So there it is. I'm gonna test this to see what happens, because I don't know what this is for. This is just a placeholder, or you're supposed to use this for your lighting kit once installed, because I don't know what's going on. So let's see what happens. All right, track is powered. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Oh, there it goes. So, interesting, it might need the roof to illuminate, because it only worked when I pushed down. I don't know what that's about, but it does illuminate, and it does work. I guess we use the one it came with, versus the one in the box for the lighting kit. So let me pop on the top part and see what that happens. All right, top part on, moment of truth, what happens? It lights. After a little delay, and for some reason. It still doesn't want to stay. Only when I slightly push down. Interesting. But everything's illuminated quite nicely. You can even see like the detail of the chair inside. That's cool. I gotta figure out why this isn't... It should just be on, but it's not. Something must be loose somewhere. So let me fiddle with that and see what happens. Alright, I think we're lit. I just put the car on the other side. I thought I put it back on correctly, but I flipped it and then now it works. So, yahoo. Now we just gotta do it 9 more times. Alright, let's take a quick peek at one of these other ones. Maybe something a little bit more different. Even though all of these cars are pretty much different, which is what I like about them. Let's take a gander at this guy. I do wonder if that last one was a fluke, or if they all have the little lighting kit pre-installed, which might... I mean, this is a newer Kato set, so maybe they finally took note that, hey, their kits were a little hard to install, even though I still don't like the clip thing. Yeah, look at that. This one's in there too. So, weird that you get this, because obviously in their own lighting kits, you get the little thingy. So why did they already include this? I don't know, but what the heck do I do with these? Can I just buy the little clippy things separately? I don't think you can. So those other ones are gonna be a little pointless. But anyway, so I think what I'm gonna do, since there's 10 cars, I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna not install these on like 3 or 4 of them. That way there's a little bit of a different hue between the cars, and I think that will make it look really more realistic. I did that same thing on the Chicago Metro set, and I really like the look, because there's like a different hue of like it's almost like a green color coming out. One's the kind of a more light green, one's a little bit more of a dark green in actual color. And I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna scout out which ones I wanna change up, and then go from there. All right, so some more things to note when I was doing the fronts, front, back, whatever you wanna call these, lifted it off, and ooh, look how fancy this is. Obviously a much different setup than the other ones, which are, at least right here, have a flat surface for the light. But this one has this funky thing where I guess it bends the light and goes up and across. So I guess maybe this is the reason why they pre-installed these for specialty cars like this. Who knows, but that's pretty cool. Thought I'd highlight that. The back is the same way, or maybe this is the back. I don't really know. I forget. I think that one's the front. But there's another one in the middle. This guy, when I lifted him up, same thing. Look how fancy. It has a very... The light goes over here, like I was showing, and then it goes up and over and across. Like I said, I've never seen this before, where it has these lights pre-installed. Maybe that's the new Kato thing, or maybe it's just special to this Twilight set, because they already know a lot of people are gonna light this sucker up. So thought I'd mention that and show some cool underbelly stuff. So there you go. Other things to note I'm running into, some of these are like super sensitive. In fact, the lights are, the power's on. You can see these other ones are lit up. But this guy and some others, like, I don't get it. Like, it's installed correctly, but it's just not wanting to go here. And like, if I like barely press on some of this stuff, like it lights up. Like I'm barely touching it and it turns on. So that tells me there's a loose connection somewhere. And this isn't the only one this has done this to. There's a lot of other cars that I've had this issue with. And I just have to keep fiddling with it, I guess, until it just gets correctly where it needs to be. And hopefully that light stays. I think it has something to do with those copper connectors I slid in, because why would it turn on if I push down here? On or off? I mean, I'm not even fiddling with this thing, so it's gotta be the connection between the wheels and the copper top of the part, because like, why would pressure on the wheels turn it on and off and that be the cause? It's very bizarre, and I've had this issue with other Kato lighting kits too, on like a random car here or there. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like there has to be a better way to design this, because this doesn't seem to be working quite right. So you'll see here in a second when I finally do a run around with all of them on, you might see some flickering, you might see some just turn off because of this weird situation where like I don't understand why it's not working. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out. Alright, all the lights are in. I'll just walk down here real quick to show you what the insides look like with the lights. I really like the unfiltered light. I think that's nice and bright and looks good. This front car is unfiltered. All the sleeping cars I kind of put the filter on, I ended up doing. This was that problem child I had before, and it's still giving me problems. So I don't know what to do about this. It's just so weird how this doesn't want to work. But when it does work, it should look really, really cool. Unfortunately, it's just not working without further pressure. And it doesn't take much. I mean, I'm barely touching this and this thing like turns on. So like, I don't get it. I really don't. And I don't understand why it can't work. Here's some other cars. Which one's this? Looks like a dining car. See some tables in there, some curtains. That's pretty cool. Next one, here's one of those sleepers with the filter in. You can see the difference in the light. I think this one's just too dark maybe, and it's not night yet, so maybe it will grow on me in like pitch black. But that's the difference right now, and I really like, this was one of the other problem children. You can see it's doing the same thing. I really like that color. That's a good rich pure white, whereas this is definitely more orangey, hence that filter. Yeah, this is the other super problem-y one. The next one here looks like some kind of lounge car, maybe? In there. And then we got 3 more of the same sleepers. So you can see the little rooms. Looks really awesome. Like I said, I might take that filter off so that it's a little bit more bright and vivid. But for right now, there's the 3, and then we end with another one from the front, or the back, or whichever one is which, I don't know. The front one I showed and the inside has blue carpet, this one has green carpet, so that's how you know the difference. Yeah, like I said, I don't know which one's which, but there you go. I noticed there's no lights really in the cab up here. I guess light doesn't quite make it all the way. Something to note, does the other one do that? Yeah, no lights in the front on this guy either. So, interesting to note, but where the lights are, they look super cool. So if I back up a little bit here, you can see the whole setup and how it's gonna look different with the different like sleeper car lights in between. If I can get these other ones to work, like what the heck. Obviously the engine's car is not on here. That is a bit different too. but because it's powered, I didn't want to turn the engine on yet. So just kind of showing you stagnant what they look like. And I like them. I like them a lot if they were to work. All right, after looking this over some more, I am quite certain it has to do with these things. Because when you slide them in, there's like almost no resistance. Like I don't even feel it hitting anything, which tells me that because when I push it down, this wheel, there's another copper spike or something that shoots up into where this thing is connected to. But I don't think it's making any connection. So what I'm gonna do is a radical idea that I didn't see in the book. I'm gonna bend one side and then hopefully slide that in there, and then it can make a contact with the other copper piece that's already pre-installed underneath it. So if you look closely, you can see there's already like a copper thing in there that the wheels touch. And I think that thing is supposed to make contact with the thing you slide in, but because it's not, it's like bent like this right now. So I think bending this piece will hopefully solidify that a little better so that it does maintain contact. I did notice in the book, it talked about bending it where? On the other side. It talked about bending here, this little clip that shoots up, but it says this is for the motor car only, really. In case of motor car, bend the spring to be like that. So if this doesn't work, I guess I'll try that, but I don't think that's the reason why it's not working right. I'm pretty sure it's the pressure point between the wheel and the thing you slide in. So I'm gonna give that a whirl and cross your fingers it even slides in if I double up like that. Voila, it pretty much worked. So I did have to cheat a little bit. There's a little clip here. I had to lift that up and then shove it in because it was not going in the normal way because that loop was too thick. It wouldn't slide into that little slot there. But if I pop that up, it basically opened up the bottom between that and the black part where the thing slides in between. And I could just shove it in and then pop that thing back down. And I believe that was the problem because it's staying on way better than it did before. It's a little bit flickery, but that should die down, I would suspect, with it running around some more. But yeah, certainly better than not working. So on these other problem children like this guy, I'm probably going to end up doing the same thing, as well as this other one that was doing the same thing also. So yeah, I think crisis averted. I think I know how to solve this problem now. Okay, finally, lights are in, and I think we're good to go. And to mark the special occasion, I did bust out the Shikishima, friend and brother to the Twilight Express, part of that luxury Japanese train line. This, like I said before, is is the Tomix version of it, whereas the Twilight Express, I went with the Kato. There's not much difference between the two brands, but just making that note. On the topic of notes, so when you saw me do the lighting kit to fix the problem, I took one of these, right, and bent it underneath like that. If you can see that, like I went down, right? I realized on the second train that I tried that on, it didn't work at all when I did that. And I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute, why am I bending it down? I should bend it up so that the middle part is being pushed down, not the very tip of this thing onto the thing below it. And that seemed to work way better when I went back and tested. So if you're gonna do this, bend it up so that it pushes the middle part as a bow like that, kind of, down towards the middle. So it would be nice, snug, and secure. So I think I solved the mystery of the problematic lights. I do, like I said, have some other Kato ones that I might want to go back and fix that. But no matter, we are ready to go here. So I'm going to turn it on. We're going to do a quick little run around with some lights off to start with. And like I said, it's not quite dark yet, but we'll do that too in pitch black and see what it looks like. So moment of truth, here we go. Finally, like I said, I bought this lighting kit over a year ago. In fact, it's probably a year and a half that it's been just sitting around waiting for me to do this. So finally, we're able to run this. And because I waited, we can run the Shikishima too, because back then I didn't have the dual looping track here. So I'm excited. Let's get her going. And we are off. Look at them lights. Everyone's working. That is great. First glance, I think I will change out those filters on those backlights. It's just too dark. We'll see what happens when it gets pitch black, but for now, I'm thinking a no on those filters. Look at that. Much better. Much better than just the plain old Twilight Express. Of course, the Shikishima has nice bright lights too. I think I need to clean the wheels. Some of them are a little flickery. But normally they're not. Here's the star of the show, coming across the bridge. For the first time with lights. Look at that. Oop. Banged into the... I banged into the Great Wall of China there. Really, really cool. This is so great. Here we are a little darker. So you can actually see a little bit of the lights better. These front ones are super bright. And then that's, I think, has a filter in it, and so does that one. That big one doesn't. The back, those back two do. Not the very back, but the other two. But compare that to how bright these are on the Shikishima. This is blinding. Blinded by the light. There's a lot more windows in this one too, so, you know. It's gonna be brighter. But I think the light itself is just brighter. Both of these are like super quiet. If you hear anything, it's the wheel noise. Like, there's no engine noise at all. Look at that. That is so cool. With the different cut, like the dark green with the gray roof and the light. That looks great. Like, I can really slow the Shikishima down to a crawl, and you can't even hear anything at this point. It's literally nothing. And then here's this guy again if I slow him down. Yeah. Lights flicker a little bit at that speed actually, but look at this meetup. On the bridge. That is cool. I think I did right with the incandescent indirect lighting. Not with the filters, but the lighting kit overall. I mean, Kato has a pure white LED kit or the indirect light. I went with the indirect light. Like I said, it just gives it that more toned down, softer look. Versus the bright like LEDs, I feel like are gonna be too bright for what's literally called the Twilight Express. So why would I not want a more twilighty feel? As it rolls on in. It's so great. What's not to like? Come on. It better be good for the price I paid for these two. Even though I got them on sale from like retail, these sets aren't cheap. That's for sure. But they're like two of the best ones I have, so, you know. You can't go wrong at that price. If it was wrong, then, you know, I have to sue somebody. But for now, I'm really liking these two sets. All right, it is finally fully night. Here's the Twilight Express with the Shikishima up there on the bridge behind it. I still think the unfiltered lights look better in this case, even here at night. So I probably will switch them out, like these back too. They'll just look better. Shikishima nice and bright, of course. So when I'm at night, I usually have these blue lights on, which makes a cool effect. And I think the Twilight Express looks a lot better with a blue beige background. Look at that. That is cool blue. Very, very, very nice. So this is how I'm probably gonna typically run it at night, and it's amazing. So there you go. After some sputtering, we can log this guy in the success bucket because it doesn't get much better than this. This is a big win. I don't know why it took me a year and a half to do this, because that's incredible. So there you go. I'm gonna leave it here. Keep enjoying this snake running around. And yeah, good times had by all.